Yes, here we go. It is P.M.P. Celtic 2. Hibs 1, Celtic 2. I should really update that wee banner. I've still got it at 1-1. That was me trying to be to preempt, I think, Regan, what I thought was going to happen at the end of the game. It was nail biting. We left it late. Oh, man. Oh. It was 2 penalties. 2 penalties scored though, which is a ratio we don't always associate with Celtic. In terms of the performance itself, we can talk about all that as well, and we'll get stuck right in. Of course, 3 points in the bag though, and it does keep us top of the table. Regan, you good, mate?
I'm doing well. I might need to go to the doctors in the morning because I'm absolutely sweating. That was a hard watch. It was a hard watch. It really was.
It was, yeah.
I mean, it was a performance that you probably seen coming because we've seen that for the past few matches, and it was kind of like I don't know, but it was like you said on Saturday. I mean, it's not a Celtic team where I can see these guys scoring. Of course, in the first half, we had loads of possession or so, and I'm thinking, right, if we get an early goal, that'll surely make us do well. And then we get the penalty, which is a penalty, and then we just didn't kick on for it. I think we had one chance through. We had one chance through Bernardo, and then Idah hits the post, which he was offside. But apart from that, like probably the 3 best chances in the game fell for the home team. The overhead kick, and then they'd one where Stephen Welsh didn't pick up his man, and the guy should have scored, and he didn't score, thankfully. But I don't know, man. It's everything for the club, top to bottom. I'm just a bit disillusioned with the whole thing. Like to me, of course, it's not going to be a happy camp, but even Brendan Rodgers at the end, I don't know, it just
his demeanour.
Yeah, it does look like the same guy. It's like see, to be honest, Russell, the more I think about it, I don't think it was the best that he came back. Because for me, he doesn't look like he's interested. And I don't mean that. Obviously, Brendan is a big Celtic supporter, and he obviously cares for the club, and he would be back here. But to me, he's just not interested on the project because this is not what he was promised. Like if you look at the Aberdeen game, okay, Celtic played okay, but I wouldn't say we played great. And probably Brendan's in the same situation as every Celtic fan right now, where he knows the squad's not good enough. I mean, even Palmer on the come off on the bench, but I didn't think he was good either. And that's a guy that was supposed to replace Jota, who was outstanding last year. And I think the biggest of the blame has to go to Marc Cairney, because for me the recruitment's been awful. As you said just before we come on air, you said it probably was the Bernabeu's worst game for Celtic, but I still thought that he did the ball. I still thought he was quite wasteful with his chances. Another thing I picked up on, I thought, seeing we got to the last 5 minutes of the game, so many of the players were getting ahead of themselves because they kept giving free kicks away and stuff like that. And for me, that's a time where you need to stay compact and try and get on the ball and try and push yourself in the game. And I felt like we became too erratic.
Well, I think we're a team that's easily rattled, Regan, and I want to talk about that as well. We'll go through a couple of, the sort of the goals, if you like. I mean, I think all 3 in their own way are clear cut. For me, the penalty initially to that Mikey Johnston, not Mikey, what's wrong? Alistair Johnston wins us, I thought was pretty reckless. But from their play, I mean, if that's the ball on the ground and a player's late with the tackle because he gets his toe in first, Johnston gets his toe in first, it's a pen. But when it's a head knock like that and he's getting stretchered off and things, you wonder what the impact was like. It looked like it was around his temple area. So we sincerely hope that Johnston, makes it obviously a full recovery and all that, but is back playing in the hoops as soon as possible. It wasn't pleasant. Stonewall penalty though, yeah?
Yeah, Stonewall penalty. Nick Wolf's got that bang on, and
Yeah.
I felt quite sorry for Johnson because I think when you're just watching it, you don't see the full impact. And it was, I think when you see the stretcher come on, you realise, oh shit, this could be serious. So I just hope he's not out too long.
Yeah, well, indeed, mate. It was just a moment where again you get a pen like that, and you rightfully, as you point out, Regan, you hope to kick on from. We could talk about the quality of their goal, I suppose. Joe Hart gets a fingertip to it, but I think if he's saving that, it's save of the season, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that was a sweet strike, and sometimes these replays that you see, Regan, when they're slowed right down, like some of them are, like it's like slow motion, it almost doesn't do their player justice, Regan, how quality that strike was from Dylan Levitt. He'd have been, I think that's a fine goal, if you know what I mean, from Hibs' point of view, and one that, do you know what, they kind of have too many complaints about. Usually we like to point the finger of blame somewhere, and I'm sure people will find someone to blame for the goal. But to me, I looked at that as just a great strike, and it's good enough a reason, I suppose, for it to be 1-1. But the point it's got to 1-1 is because we're not building from positions of strength. But then what transpired to happen after the equaliser is we're not just failing to kick on, as you describe it, when we get an early goal. We're struggling to react positively in the face of any such of adversity. We then have 10, 15 minutes, once we've conceded a goal, where we are well and truly rattled. That happened again tonight. You spoke to me off air, you said Stephen Welsh, maybe, not because we want players getting injured, but it might have been the best thing because he looked very nervy after we conceded the goal. But the whole team did. Giving the ball away, as he does. The team itself, it just seems to lack that, for some reason at this point, that sort of mental traits that you would associate with a team. There's Big Liam just about to join us. Yes, mate.
Hello, Liam.
How you doing?
Good to have you on, pal. All good, mate. All good. This time will suit you better in Canada, Liam, I'm sure. We're just talking there about, I'll just come straight to you, mate, since you've just jumped on straight in at the fire, mate. Talking about Celtic don't kick on from positive positions, such as early goals. I think that's 3 of the last 4 games they've scored early goals. We don't kick on from it. But then when we concede an equaliser, we're rattled by it, Liam, for 10, 15 minutes. So from a position of strength, we don't seem to treat that in a positive nature. Then, when there's a moment of adversity, something like an equalising goal, bit of pressure put on us, we seem to get rattled then as well. Again, we got the win today, so I don't want to be crazy negative, but your eyes don't lie. It was a very, very strange win in many ways because it was the 2 pens. But that was the story. But that's what I took away from it with this team. When they're in a position of strength, they're not kicking on, and then when they're faced with some adversity, they kind of panic a wee bit as well. And we did ride out the 15 minutes, in all fairness to the team, so I've got to admit that. But boy, oh boy, they looked nervy after conceding the equaliser for a spell, didn't they?
I thought we looked very, very lucky to get out of that. They had some absolutely brilliant chances, and they made them. They made their chances. They were getting to boys first. They were nipping boys off our feet. It was squeaky bum time. I think we look like one of the boxers, you see. When you see one of the guys in UFC or the boxing that where they come up with a flourish, they win a championship, win a belt, and then people start figuring them out. People figuring out, all right, I just need to stay maybe on the outside of him a bit more, or he doesn't recover for this or that.
Yeah.
Teams look to us that they've really, the first half, they see there's absolutely nothing for us. We're powder puff. And it's like, okay, how are we not having a go? And I think we've bullied so many teams the last two years with Ange that when it comes back, it's like, you know what? They're seeing a vulnerability in us and they're going, fuck it, what are we scared of? These guys are nowhere near where they were a year ago. Let's have a go. And the teams that are doing that now are all doing it. They're getting their confidence. They're doing it in the second half. When it changes is when they come out the gates like that. And that's going to start happening now as well.
Well,
Teams
I
are
tell
just
you
going to
what,
start showing up and have a go at us.
on that analogy, the boxing analogy, I don't think that's the worst point in the world at all, Liam. I quite like that because, Regan, the thing is as well, the other thing, I think someone alluded to this in the comments right at the start, so I'm kind of pinching it, but I didn't save the comments, so sorry. That almost teams will be saying now, getting at half time with them, even a goal down, and they'll be nervy as fuck for the second 45. It's like that. You don't even have to be level pegging with Celtic. If you're within a goal of them and you can get to half time, I think that second half, you're absolutely right. There's a smell in the air of fear, vulnerability, and other teams look to capitalise on that. Liam's absolutely spot on there in terms of the clear-cut chances. I felt the quality of their balls into the box was night and day compared to ours. Some were driven low. You've seen first-time crosses towards the end of the game. It was a first-time left-footed cross by Newell, who also gave away the penalty.
It was a great pass.
I looked at his cross first time and I thought, Burnaby's just tried that 3-4 minutes ago, and his went about 30 foot up in the air and came down. You just look at the difference in quality there in the balls into the box. And I thought Hibs' ones seem to have a lot more purpose and a lot more sort of quality, to be honest with you, on their end product than what Celtics did.
I definitely. I think he's spot on in terms of look at the Ross County game at home. Celtic were scraping by against Ross County. Motherwell beat them 5-0 last night. Ross County probably had the best chances, and as Liam says, I think if you look at the overall picture of the match, I wouldn't really say Celtic created that much. So the whole team were probably the better chances. I mean, Joe had a great save for the overhead kick. He also Stephen Welsh let that the striker go through one of the through goal and he missed it. So I don't know. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to explain, but I think the overall picture for Celtic is it's 3 points. But you've got to say we've been very, very fortunate there because I don't think we're playing at our best at the moment. But hopefully, in the next few weeks, like you guys are saying, it's much better if we can get see once we get our first goal, we go on and get a second and a third, so we calm the nerves. Because, like you said, most teams who are able, like an Aberdeen or a Hearts, they've got players that can really make that difference. And if we don't shut up shop early, and then you see what happens with Aberdeen, they get a great goal from Miovski. So it's all about taking your chances. But the bad thing for me at the moment is I don't think we're creating many chances.
Well, that's absolutely spot on as well. There seems to be a wee bit of them that seems to have forgotten how to beat a man. A wee bit of them that seems to have forgotten it. They're a wee bit gun shy as well. And the finishing boots were. I mean, was it the weekend? There it was 22 efforts on goal. I mean, first an Ange team, you're buzzing with that. And yet it was only 4 of those efforts on target. I'm not sure what the stats were for tonight because I'm just an unorganised idiot. But it certainly didn't feel like we tested David Marshall all that much. Liam, we get to the decisive moment in the game. I've got a strange take on this, but I'm going to run it past you, mate, because I know you're open to all levels of debate, mate. Right? So I'm going to bring a curveball in here. We get that penalty, and I'm going to point at Chris Sutton and say, I think he's played a massive helping hand there. Let me explain. So VAR is obviously there to pick up on these incidents. I don't think initially I thought that was a penalty. It's took those extra looks. But as we know, the commentary team and the guys in the VAR box have some sort of communication. They can hear each other. And I think it's Sutton that's flagged that. I think at first the ref's already going at that with the shy, and then it seems to be the most that's going, I don't know. I'd have a wee look at that. And then suddenly it became and now he's going to stop. And I wonder if that's played some sort of influence there. Now, rightly, because at the end of the day, once you then watch it back, you go, fucking hell, there's a penalty right away. And it's only Sutton who knows then he has to sort of dangle the carrot a good few times in the commentary. I don't know if you hear his commentary over there, but he dangled the carrot a good few times. Oh, that might be worth something. It might be worth looking at. And I think it is in the box and all these and before you know it, I think there was a bit of that because we all know they don't go out their way to look to give Celtic penalties. I know that might sound a wee bit different considering we've just had 2 tonight and 2 decisive ones. But it felt to me like, wow, would they normally be, halting play over someone when a Celtic player's got his shot away already? I think that has been one they'd have been able to brush over normally. Big Sutton forcing the issue, gets the assist for me, and Celtic get the penalty in. On another note, I'll let you talk about that wee theory in a wee second, but on another note as well, how refreshing to have a player scoring two pens.
First of all, both penalties were well taken. I felt bad for him on that second penalty. I'm just thinking about the pressure on the boy. It's just on him. It's like
so true.
Callum go up and had a word or do something captainy at that point, just to sort of like settle his nerves in. But no, I came up and took it like a pro. No daft run-ups. No, look at me. Just right in the back of net, picked his side, watched the goalie. And yeah, I was thinking the worst at that. The Chris Sutton thing. Bhoycie, what are you trying to do? You trying to get him barred for Easter Road now as well. You're setting up a whole horrible week on Super Scoreboard. He's not going to like you. Good luck getting him on the bus now. I mean, we hear that before, you hear that. If they're listening to that commentary as well too, I think he's really backing them into checking for that. And that's it. It's like, making the stuff that's impossible to ignore. I watched the highlights of the Rangers game last night as well. And, Connor Goldson, I think you just need to put a Globetrotters strip on him so that we know that he's allowed to touch the ball. It's like twice he touched it last night. But I thank God we got somebody. I see Chris Boyd's on the new on Sky. I'm not hearing what he's saying right now, but I think that's Sutton just sort of getting it back for all the amount of cheerleading that goes on over there. And I think we've got Chris Sutton in their corner because we're not going to get it off any of our board or anything like that. The penalty itself, I had to look at that 2 or 3 times to see. I wouldn't have, if that was one of our boys sliding, I've seen Cameron Vickers go in like that and no leaving one in, but sometimes the player just follows through into your leg as well. You're both going for the ball, and then after the ball's gone, it hits, but that's football, That's why So, I don't know. I thought we were fortunate to get that penalty, and it was like, okay, and just glad we got out one, A lot of people's faces would be tripping them. It still is. It just shows you how much we've still got loads of work to do. That's what it is. It's enjoy that victory. Not as much as I enjoyed it if it was like the game before a break or something, because then you could think, okay, just get us past the line and we'll fix it. No, it's worrisome news because we've got to fix it for Sunday, It's because it's still not working. On-field play is not working.
I agree with that. I mean, I think it was David Kelly who'd said in the comments earlier, Regan, he felt Ronnie Dyler's Celtic would beat this current version of Celtic. And I was actually bizarrely taking my mind back to Ronnie Dyler's team when I was watching the game. And I was looking at the sort of even the level of player you're bringing. You look at Nicholas Kuhn today, and I know it's early days. But you just think, wow, we seem to be really just bringing in players. When you look at the summer window as well, and it's players that are much of a muchness that aren't coming in and having impacts on that first team. And unfortunately, what Ronnie had on his side that Brendan doesn't, he really, and to be fair to him, identified himself, so he deserves a lot of credit for that. But like to Calmac coming through, and of course Kieran Tierney, we don't seem to have that youth, and the players that we have brought in, not quite sure how many of them I'm hanging my hat on right now to dictate outcomes in this league title race as of yet. Adam Idah that we need to talk about, Regan, because at the end of the day, I thought the pressure on him, Liam, I then want to just take it a wee bit further than what Liam was saying, Regan. I think he'll be so aware as well of what the social media meltdown was when we signed him as well. The pressure on him was, he's looked forward to stepping up there. That showed me an attitude at the very least that is quite refreshing, because he'll be more than aware that, fucking hell, getting dogs abuse and even kicked the ball yet. It's not his fault. We're criticising the board for signing Norwich City's third choice striker. That's what he is. But of course, it could be easy for him to have thought, fucking hell, I'm off to a bad start here. To have the balls to take the 2 penalties, Regan, dispatch them with ease, sends the keeper the wrong way with both. It is a good start. And once you get scoring goals at the start of your Celtic career as a striker, they tend to flow after that. And it was, what did you also make? Of course, I don't want to just brush over this. What did you make him getting the start today as well, Regan?
I was a bit surprised he got the start, but I was actually glad he got the start because I don't think Kyogo's played as well the last few weeks, so I think he's been fully deserving of his opportunity. On the whole, Adam Idah criticism of the board, I think that is fully justified. But like you said, fair play to him. He's I thought he did well against Aberdeen. He came on and he imposed himself on the game, and that's all you can ask of him. And then obviously tonight again, I thought he did okay in the first half. He scored his penalty. He did a few link-up bits here and there, and then obviously stepping up again. And like you guys were saying there, the pressure he must have felt when he stepped up for that second penalty. I mean, I was feeling pressure sitting there watching it. I couldn't watch it. So
you said you were sweating, Regan, backstage before we went live.
I was sweating. Aye. Honestly, because I thought, how can we go from being like 9 points in front to possibly them going 3 points ahead after they played that game in hand? It was just not unthinkable for me. I mean, but I'm so glad that Adam Idah stepped up and took it. I'm going to make a wee point here. I think Adam Idah could be the second of Giakoumakis. I think this guy looks like a Brendan Rodgers kind of player. You know, he just seems kind of strong and I don't know, maybe secretly Brendan Kyogo's no Brendan's kind of striker. Did you know? And
well, see, to be honest with you, what I would like to say on the inclusion of Idah, Liam, is he's been started on merit to them. We've not seen enough of that when it's came, in my opinion, to Kyogo during his time at Celtic. Loads of great moments, far more great moments under Kyogo than not. But let's just be real here. He's been picked and favoured at times where it's not always been on merit. And I think this time it's like, you're out of form, you're out the team. O's not provided that competition to either manager, Ange or Rodgers. So before it turns into a pile-on Rodgers, Ange didn't fancy O to start ahead of Kyogo at any point. He didn't fancy Giakoumakis to ever come in for Kyogo at any point. And I think Rodgers, to be fair to him, is when, do you know what? Out of form striker, 3 goals in his last, 15, 16 games? I want to put the new boy in for the get-go today away from home. Brilliant show of faith in Idah. What did he offer, though, in terms of the game? Well, I read comments on the channel the other day, right, because I've got a mate I inadvertently met years ago who's a Norwich City season ticket holder. And I sort of read them out, and he basically said, I think essentially what we got today, player who's offered loads of promise, all the physical attributes, great attitude, but never quite went to whatever level it is that he'd been hoped or aspiring to be. I think he is a player who still looks a bit raw for me, but confident striker in the side, boy, we've needed it.
I mean, I wouldn't compare to Giakoumakis right now, but I don't know, I've not seen enough from him right now. I mean, more like a really on-form Ollie Burke right now than a Giakoumakis. He's in that, and takes a good penalty. You want to see more of him, but you're Kyogo. I mean, Kyogo's off the boil for ages, and I wonder what that's going to do to his ego now, because he's missed out and getting in the Japan team. Now he's getting left off. I'm hoping he's the sort of player that can fight through adversity and go out and want to show them, or does the head go down and say, "Oh shit, that's that run come to an end. Maybe I need to, start somewhere else now," or that, So who knows what's going through the guy's mind? But I think he's going to have to be played as an impact sub right now. That one pass that he got later on, like that was like 78th minute or something, where he was nearly on the penalty spot, and he stopped it, and he took a touch.
Totally, mate. I know exactly what you're going to say.
Yeah, I remember it.
You know, that didn't look like Kyogo at all. And that's something I can see that we've been doing an awful lot this year that we didn't do under Ange, is that we're stopping the ball by putting your foot on top of it, and then we're moving. We're dragging it. We're taking that wee extra touch, where a lot of the times that ball can go, you know, it just adds a second to stuff that we do. And you see right now, even when it's guys like Kyogo doing it, that ball the back of the net there and then, you know.
Yeah, I think that sums it up for me as well, Regan, where Kyogo's form is right now, his confidence is at, that opportunity there where he takes the touch rather than just banging it home. He's got no awareness that Newell, I think it was, who took it off his toes, was right beside him or right behind him. That struck me as a player. Me and Terry spoke about whether he's a killer or not. And he got that goal against Rangers, and Terry sort of said, you know, look, he is a killer. But yeah, that wasn't an example, unfortunately, tonight of someone who's got that killer streak. I also want to pull up one of Liam's comments there as well, Regan, and get your thoughts on it, because I've just lost my train of thought there. What was I going to say? Whether Kyogo can handle adversity. And I'm like, well, to be honest with you, we've had one manager change, and it looks like he's went from being your absolute talisman to form falling off a cliff. And just because the system doesn't suit him, even when there's now two up top, we'll hopefully maybe see him get back to his old ways. But I've got to be honest and say, you know, in terms of him facing adversity so far, I'm not all that convinced. I think when we're doing things great, he loves life, and I think you know, his smile shines through, and it literally translates into his football. Right now, when it's been a bit of a tougher season, Celtic not playing great, system change, your best players step up, and unfortunately, I think he's had moments this season, but he's not been where he was the 2 years previous, let's be honest.
Aye, definitely. I think the big thing for Kyogo that I'm noticing, I think because the football's a bit slower, Kyogo's he's not fully on board, because for me, under Ange Postecoglou, everything was so quick, and defenders couldn't cope with, like, Matt O'Reilly being really quick with the ball and then straight through to Kyogo. Whether you look at this season and it's all slow and methodical, because I looked at the first half tonight, right, and I'm watching and I'm going, we've had so much of the ball, but we don't look as if we're going to score. And to me, that's not what a Celtic team should be. We should be peppering that goal every time we go forward. But I wasn't able to see that. In terms of Kyogo, I think the biggest thing for him during his Celtic time is he's never really had proper competition. He had Jack and Marcus, I did, but then the social media thing happened, because Jack and Marcus wanted to be the number 9 for Ange, and Ange wasn't too pleased with that. But I think it's now good that he's got proper competition, because I think as much as we've slated Adam Idah in the transfer policy, I think he has genuine competition now for Kyogo. I think that's something that is needed, because I think throughout the squad, whenever there was a gaping hole in the striker position, the only person that didn't know was Peter Grant. And he keeps to this myth that Celtic should only have 2 strikers, because you're not going to attract 3 strikers up in Scotland, which I don't understand. I don't understand that method, because to me, any good team, I don't think you put a limit on how many good strikers you've got. And if you look at the brilliant Man U teams over the years, they had 4 or 5 strikers, like Robin van Persie, Carlos Tevez, all these players. But in terms of Celtic, I mean, it was just a case of, thank God we go over the line, because as I said on the radio earlier, I mean, that's a venue that Brendan Rodgers has never won it before, and we managed to get the win. So I'm just glad that we got the win. I mean, I don't think we're playing well, but the good thing for me is that we've managed to go over the adversity, because I think even though social media is a parapet of bad news at the moment, it would have been an explosion, right, if there'd have been drop points in consecutive matches. So I'm just glad that hopefully that'll bring some confidence to Idah. The players will start to go, right, we're level on points. Everything's going to be hunky-dory. We'll go through in the Scottish Cup, and then I can't believe I'm saying this, Liam, but then Greg Taylor comes back. I can't believe I'm saying that, you know. I mean, I was on Liam's bus.
He's trying to wind you up, Liam.
I know
He's trying to wind you up, eh?
No, I was on Liam's way of thinking forever, saying Greg Taylor needs out of the club, but he's the best left back at the club now, and the board don't want to spend the money. You know what I mean? They're probably going to give Lawwell a bonus rather than get another left back in. But no, I'm just really glad for the whole team that we've managed to get the win, because that was looking very bleak.
Well, things that aren't as bleak is the fact that we've held on to that top spot, Liam, and undeniably, there is a title race to be had 100%. You know, I think a lot of Celtic fans over the last 7 days have questioned everything to do with the club, you know, from top to bottom. And I've almost, I think that the majority of Celtic fans, not you know, a slight majority, I've now tipped Rangers to sort of go on and win this league. I think there's a hell of a lot more, you know, room for a race here between the two teams. Did I want it to be this? Should it be this, considering we had an 8-point gap? Probably not. But that's where we find ourselves now. That's not saying that's acceptable. I'm just talking about the here and now, as opposed to my opinion on it. I think going forward, though, that will have slightly affected the other side's momentum, which does seem to have took one hell of a shift for a team that got beaten in the derby, you know, only there was the game before the winter break. So, you know, the momentum shift they managed to have since then is quite incredible. And I think they were hedging all their bets. Celtic were going to drop points again tonight. And for 90 minutes, it looked like we were. Late goals at that can just be wee hammer blows. And remember, this is a test for them as well. How do you like it? How do you like being in an actual title race? Well, can you hang with Celtic in the title race? We're the team that wins this league more often than other ones. So, you know, this isn't me trying to put positive spin or shining up a turd and all that stuff. At the end of the day, we are still top of the league. We have got over the line of late far more often than them. They did it with no fans there. When it was the COVID season, that was just a bizarre one. They did it with no competition from Celtic whatsoever. And now they're getting within touching distance. Let's see if they can hang with us.
How many of them do you think tuned in at the 85th minute to see us get a Tav pen?
Definitely.
It's like the amount of times that I've sneaked in the end of a Rangers game. It's like, oh, Christ, they're getting beat or they're drawing or something, and then penalty Rangers, you know. Well, thank God we got a wee bit of that tonight. But they seem to be not only they're playing with confidence, but they're exuding confidence, and their support has confidence. You know, the ironically thing is they're very much all in. They seem to be far more all in than we are, you know, despite what our board claims. So, you know, I think they seem to have gelled together for management to the players, so that where we don't look like the same two players in the same half of the park that can agree what their role is or what the team shape is or how they play. I think
that's a great point that you made there, Liam, in terms of that game, because I watched the Rangers game last night, and even when they went to 1-1, the whole Rangers atmosphere was, everybody was singing, the place was jumping. So I think Rangers are just happy to be in this title race because they didn't expect to be there, but because we've got so much high standards and we've won 12 of the last 13 titles, and obviously we've got very high standards, but I think they're just happy to be in there.
I mean, if they're an underdog, they're not behaving like it, you know. 1 in 13. They're coming out strong. But I think that's more of a regression than them getting better. Also, I think they've got rid of all the whack jobs and all the guys like the Kents. They always held them. They somehow, I think those players held them back. And whereas now it seems like, okay, they've got mostly grafters in there. And if you've got a half-decent coach and you've got grafters that want to play and play hard, and especially when they've been bullied and had their nose rubbed in it, again, here's a chance. We're vulnerable. We're vulnerable right now. So everybody that we've bullied in a game right now is wanting to come back and have a kick at us when we're down. So I think we're going to teams attacking us and coming forward for us. And Rangers, I think, I don't think they'll get better, but I think they seem to be more consistent than what we have. And, I don't follow them that much. I know who's in and out of the team and that all the time. But from what I've seen and all that, they look capable, So,
they do, and that's why I think the mental test comes into it when it's a title race. Now, I wouldn't want to be hypocritical either. We've never really been in many title races either, let's be honest. No. We tend to get the job done early, but I do think there's a lot more to be taken from having the medals and the experience of lifting the trophy than there is having not done so. And I've got to be honest, I think Celtic still are marginal favourites. I think that opinion will change, and I think it will fluctuate between now and the end of the season. I'm still very hopeful that it'll be us lifting the trophy come the end of the year. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be nervy moments like that. It depends where the mood music is as well, though, Regan. Games like that tonight, say we'd been on a half-decent run of form, and playing well, and we'd done okay in the January window, and that was still what happened tonight, right? That was still what happened. We won with 2 penalties. We'd all be saying, sign the champions. That's what you do. You dig in, and you get wins like that. You'll need to have them throughout the season. So isn't it funny how you could spin the narrative to suit whatever the mood is at the time as well?
I definitely. I mean, like you said, football fans are fickle, and if we're sitting 9 points clear at the moment and we get a last-minute penalty, I think everybody's just happy. But I think in terms of the match tonight, there's a sense of thank God we didn't let the winless run keep going, because that can become a bad habit as well, where you get into the kind of rut and go, are we actually going to win a game here? And as much as I don't like to speak on Rangers, like Liam was saying there, they're becoming really being able to win games. I mean, that manager's been in there for 19 games now. He's only lost 1 match. So when you look at that, that's the kind of form that we're up against, and we need to hope that Palma and Bernardo, people like that can step up the next few weeks, because they're going to be very important. I think we go to time capsule soon as well, so that'll be difficult because Hearts are playing well, and obviously Shankland will want to score a goal against us as well. So I think we'll need to be on our guards, but I think if we play to our potential, then we'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, well, playing to our potential is certainly what we're looking to see more of. There's definitely is improvements we can make in performance. Anyway, we'll call it there. It's 11:15 at night here. I know you'll be loving doing the afternoon slot, Liam. This will be a dream for you, these sort of time frames on the bus. So I can really apologise. We're cutting a wee bit early. I'm back to work. I'm absolutely shattered. Regan's going to try and calm down somewhere, and hopefully you've stopped sweating, pal, after what was a nervy, but I would have 3 points, but 3 points nonetheless. And we'll be keeping our eyes on the board throughout the next week as well, just for the crack. Not that they can actually do much unless they're going to change manager. Definitely want to, after though I finished, I think I'll definitely be listening to Roger's comments after the game. I'm quite looking forward to hearing what he makes of that. And I think there'll be a lot of sign language experts body language experts will soon see over the next few months as to what this guy's long-term plan is. Anyway, a big thank you, Liam, top man, for coming on. Regan as well. Thanks everyone on the chat, 250 odd live. Thanks very much. Like, share, subscribe, all that carry on. See you there.